be me. Hopefully you can see, folks. If you're coming on, that would be great. Just trying to get this right. So hi everybody, if you're there, it's Handmade by Shirley, and I'm going live for the next hour, possibly hour and a half. If you're about, say hi. If you're not about, fair enough. Right, let me see what I've got here. See if anybody's coming in. Let's say I'm live. Yep, and I've got, great. So we'll see if anybody comes on. Right, so I'm just waiting on folks to come in. So I'll just wait a few more minutes and see who arrives. I'm just having a wee drink. So I came on yesterday and I suggested that if you wanted to craft along with me, you needed 2 embossing folders. You could have 3 if you want. You needed black ink. I didn't say you might need white ink. You need some white card, colouring pens or inks, and blending brushes, and roughly 2 card bases, 7x5 and a 6x6 base. So yes, that's kind of what we need. You also might need, probably also will need some die cuts as well. So yep, some die cuts. It could be flowers, it could be leaves. I've just got a wee mixture out. Yeah, so hopefully some folk will come on. I don't see anybody on yet. If you are on, please do say hello in the chat at the side. It'd be lovely to hear from you. Hopefully you can see everything. It's not too dark. I'm just going to check this. It's this that's for some reason dark. That's better. My camera was a bit dim. So I've got my cutting machine and my embossing machine beside me as well. So yep. So I'm just going to probably get started with doing some of my embossing, I think. So I'm just going to get started now. I've got some 3D embossing folders. I've also got some normal 2D. Excuse me. And it will just be whatever is going to fit in your sandwich. Hi Anita, thanks so much for coming on and welcome. Are you going to craft along, do you think? So I've just said that you did need some, if you're crafting along, you need a couple of embossing folders, or you could have 3, black ink, also white ink if you got it, white card, roughly 4 sheets, not necessarily, some colouring pens or blending inks, 2 card bases or 3 that measure 7x5 and 6x6. Hi Lorna, thanks so much for coming in, and Gail, thanks so much, excellent. So do you 3 think you're going to craft along, or are you just going to watch? So I was just going to get started. Also, I've brought out some cutting dies as well. These are just some of them. These are 6. These are just cheap ones that I had, and these are Alexandra Renka ones. So I don't know what you want to do. Just watching tonight, says Anita, as I'm only just home from work. Okay, that's absolutely fine. Trying to, Lorna. Yeah, of course you can. You can do it. Oh, you can. Oh, excellent, Gail. So, thanks so much, ladies. I really do appreciate it. I have had quite an eventful week already, and it's only nearly Wednesday. I was at a music workshop today, and yesterday, so had a bit of a it just was a bit of a rush because it was over the other side of where I live, but it was absolutely fine. So I've had quite a nice couple of days, but very busy. So I've pulled out quite a few different embossing folders. I can't remember where this is from, but yeah, I've got that one. So it's this kind of, I think it's, I don't know if that's hydrangea, if it's like frangipani. I've got this tree one, which is a Stampin' Up one, since I used to do Stampin' Up as a demonstrator, so I keep lots of my stuff. I've got this one, I don't know where that's from either. So it doesn't have to be necessarily like that, it could be any embossing folder. This is an embossing folder, and I think it's die as well. So that's a 3D one. So I'll just are you all ready to begin, or do you want me to just wait a minute or two? I've got a nice drink of a rose lemonade. So I'd be really grateful if you could give me the thumbs up. Oh, hi Simone. Thank you so much. Lovely to see you. Oh yeah, I loved your lives. I loved that butterfly. It was fantastic. Thanks so much. Right, shall we just get started? So I've got 2 7x5 bases. Now I just cut them from, I do use the Silk and Weave card from Centigo. I always do. I've used it for ages and I do like it. And then this, so it's 250 GSM, but it doesn't matter, you can use any card. And then this one is 5 3/4 squared. And then I've cut out, so put them to the side for now, and then I've cut out a couple of pieces that are obviously not that size, but just as they're going to go onto that card. So I'm going to be using embossing folders to do a few techniques. Hopefully they'll work. So I also have these. I'm going to be using, excuse me, we're going to do one of the embossing, what do you call it, techniques using the debossed side, and I'm going to be using the VersaFine Clear Nocturne, or you don't have to necessarily use that one. You could use the Twilight as a not such a harsh colour, so it's going to be the sort of Joseph's Technicolor sort of technique for one of them. And then another one is going to be putting ink onto your embossing folder and putting it through the machine. Hopefully you're all able to get access to a machine. And then one is just going to be plain white, just, you know, to show you. I mean, I'm sure you've done it before, but so I think one's going to be the Joseph one. One's going to be plain white. I might do it with some other colours. And this one, so one's plain white, one's Joseph, and one's probably the Joseph one's last because it's quite messy. And one's going to be colour with added elements. So how does that sound, folks? So I'm going to pop this away, and I've got my machine to the side of me here, so I can bring it in. It is a Stampin' Up one because, as I say, I kept it because I used to do Stampin' Up, and it's a perfectly good machine. It really is. They've actually got a foiling system that's out now as well, which I was interested in the foiling system before, but when people used it through the Platinum 6 or whatever it was. But when I saw the one that they're doing with Stampin' Up, I thought, oh, maybe I should just get that instead, because it's going to be able to go through this machine. So anyway, I'm blethering, haven't I? So I'm just going to do this first card, which is going to be just straight white on white. So basically, more or less anyway. So I'm going to just use this 3D one. So when you talk about white on white, doing white on white, it's basically about kind of doing layers and things and textures to make it look, so it doesn't look flat and too boring. So there's the dies, which I could actually cut out after, but that is so that you can actually cut round once it's been embossed. So anyway, I'm just going to be using the 3D folder. So I have to make my sandwich slightly different because it's a 3D, so it's much thicker. So I probably don't need that size of card, but I'm just going to leave it and then I can cut it down after. So for the 3D one, there's a 3D plate. So just do whatever your machine lets you do. So I just should hopefully work this way, or maybe I need to. Just let me think how it's done. So maybe I don't actually need that. Let me see. Here's my other. Here's the other one. Oh dear. I lost it. No, there we go. Let's just try this because there is a actual embossing. Yeah, for embossing, but it doesn't seem to be working. So let's just try it. Don't think I've used a 3D embossing folder in this before, actually. So, come on. Let's just get this correct. Get this in place. Right, let's see if it's going to work like this. It may or may not, and it doesn't seem to be wanting to do that at all. So perhaps it does tell you on here, but let me see. So for embossing, for 3D embossing, you should just use this plate and this, and that's what I did, but for some reason it didn't want to go through. Let's try it again. No, it's not going through. That is weird. Dear me. Let me see. I wonder if I think I used that before, unless it's one of these. And this. Let's try this. No. Oh my goodness. Sorry, folks. Right, so let's take that off and let's try again. So let's try with plates 2 and 3 or 3 and 3 and this embossing And let's see if we can get this to go through. No, it's not wanting to go through. I don't understand that at all. Let's try and get them into order. Probably now waiting on me to catch up with you. No, that just won't go through at all. And now it seems to be stuck. Right, so we're not going to use that one because it's not going through. We're just going to use one of these. So I'm going to get this one. So I'm now using the 5x5 piece. Well, it's not 5x5, I think it's 5 3/4 squared. So that should just go in as usual. We might need number 2. Right, so let's hope this works. Oh dear. Dear me, why isn't it working? I don't like it. This is ridiculous. See, I don't use embossing folders very often, people. Right, let's try it. No, I don't go through. I don't understand that. Right, we have one more way of doing it. We'll get there. I'm sure we'll get there in the end. Let's try this one. Oh my goodness, you're probably shouting at me going, it's this way. That's it now. I can feel it. It's weird that it says use that plate and then it doesn't work. Right, anyway, we've got there. I could do some of the other ones as well, but just do this just now. So that does bring out a lovely emboss, doesn't it? It's really pretty. And it's a good deboss as well. So, and that's that. We might use that one again. Who knows? Right. So for that, really all I'm going to do would be put it on the card base, which is over here. And it would be just straight onto that, just like that. I can't believe that that didn't work. Are you all in front of me, folks? Yes, it is very pretty. You're right. I cannot remember the name of this. I really should try and put labels onto some of these things when I take them out of their pockets. So I'm just going to make it a left folding card, just like that. And actually thinking I should have popped. I'm just going to cut that off slightly, a little bit bigger. It is. I do not know the make, Gail, but I can try and find out for you. That's what I'm saying. I don't know the make of that one, which is ridiculous because I should really try and find it, know what that is. So I'm going to just put a wee stamped message. Now, for some reason these stamps are losing some of their stickiness. So, excuse me. So this stamp says grateful. And all I'm really going to do is, I've got a piece of card here, and I'm going to stamp on the smoother side. So on this silk and weave, obviously there's a weave, and then on the other side it's smooth. So I'm going to stamp in, I'll just do it in black. This one, and we can kind of just, so there we go, that's fine. So are you crafting along? Are you making something similar? Excuse me. So I think I might just put it down at the bottom here, because I think that looks quite nice. What do you think? Do you think middle, bottom, to the side? Right, sorry, I've got a frog in my throat. So, I think I'll just chop it there, because I don't think of it in the middle. Oh, I could have it there, going like that. Oh, excuse me, I need to take a drink. So what do you think, folks? Middle, down here, like that. And I can put some gems over that way, or up here, or just down here to the side. Any votes? Anybody? Oh, I don't know if anybody's seeing anything. So, right, so what will I do? I think, I mean, it's quite nice and there. No, I'm going to go to that right hand corner. So I'm just going to chop it there. Oops. Better cover this over before I cover myself in ink, because that's quite possible. And I'm going to pop this up. Now I do have one piece left of this foam, which I could use. Oops. There we go. Now before I pop it on, I'm just going to do a wee fishtail for this one. So actually, let's just go around this edge like that, and I'm just going to do the fishtail. So you cut it to the middle there, and then you bring from the outside corners to the inside, and that gives you that nice diagonal. And also, just before I pop that on, just so that we can see it a little bit more, I'm just going to go round with that black, trying not to get everywhere. She says, getting it everywhere. Ah! I think we're going to have to do that again. Oh dear. Right. Maybe that's not a good idea. Let's see this once. Let's not do that, because that's what happens when you do it. So back to doing the fishtail. So cut up the middle, cut from each corner into the middle, and you get what's called a fishtail shape. Right, let's just pop that there. Oh, see, I've just popped my finger in it again. Honestly. Honestly. Right. Let's just stamp that again. Oh, it didn't stamp properly, did it? Jinx. I think I'll manage to do it. What's going on now? That'll do. That will absolutely do. Cover that up. And let's just pop this on the back. So if you don't have foam tape, don't worry, just stick it down flat or use cardboard, which is another good way to pop it up on to make it 3D. So really do appreciate you guys coming in. Really do. If you're coming in, please feel free to say hello. It'd be so nice to have you here and say hello at Craft Along if you think that's something you can do. So I'm just going to pop that onto there. There we go. So that is basically the first card finished. I'm just going to get my, I'm going to pop that back just now. I'm just going to get my box of tricks. So my box of gems. Just pop the lid on there. How are you doodling, folk? So I've got these nice petals. I think would be perfect with this because it's white on white. I don't want to put too many on it. I just want to put a few. So there's various different sizes. So I'll probably go for kind of the smaller sizes. Just because that's my preference. So, oh dear. So actually, let's see if I can use this. That might be easier. Get that off my finger. No, not very easily. Let's put it back down. Not having a good time tonight, you know. Excuse me. I'm going to put one there. And I'm going to put one there. And one there as well. So I could add some more. So let's just add a few wee more bits as well. So I'll go for a slightly bigger size. So I'm just going to go in between some of the sort of, so in between these sort of stems. I'm not going to put any in the middle of the flowers or anything. So looking for a slightly bigger one and just kind of dotting a few over the place. This one. So this thing works with putty. So when the putty hits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I'll do another one. 7, that'll be. So when the putty it should adhere to the putty. So let me see where else we can put one. Maybe down here. And that's the first card. So that is just lovely, just to get that. It wouldn't have to have grateful on it. It could have happy birthday. It could have anything on it at all. But that is just a lovely card in white on white. I hope you'll agree. Thank you. Oh, Lorna, I'm sure it is. We're going too fast. I'm sure it is. What I'm going to do is actually I have got a Facebook page called Handmade's Crafty People. Now, I might have invited some of you guys to it. I don't know if you've got that invite, but that's a place where you can share your makes on it. So it's my page. It's various different other people who did other crafts. So it wasn't just paper crafts, it was other crafts as well. So if you should have hopefully got an invitation for that. If not, we can always try and invite you. Well, certainly we'll try and invite you. So yeah, that's the first card. So thanks very much. That's pretty, yes. That's number 1. So for card number 2, so that was that embossing folder. So I'll put this to the up there just now. So the next thing we're going to do, I thought would be good to do, was to add some nice colour just to the front of the card. So you would need some blending brushes for this, some distress oxides if you've got, or some inks, possibly distress inks. I don't know so much. I've not really blended with the VersaFine Clear or anything. I've only ever stamped with them. But whatever inks you've got in your stash, feel free to use it. So I'm going to start, I'm not going to do the embossing yet. I'm going to do this after I've done some ink blending. So I'm just going to be using my distress oxides for this, and I've got a few different colours that are quite new. So I've got Victorian Velvet, Seedless Preserves, they're quite new, so they'd be quite juicy. I've got a few others, but I don't think they'll go with the colours I want to do. So I'm going to use Pop In Saltwater Taffy as well, and also Wilted Violet. So that's 4 I'm going to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get my blending brushes and just blend onto the card. So I might do it on this weight side because it's smoother card. I might actually cut another piece because that's got the design of that. So just getting your brushes, all you want to do is just lay some ink down on the back, blended, and then we're going to put the embossing folder through it, through the machine when that's all blended. So I'm going to start off with some Wilted Violet, like so. And I'm just going to, I think I actually need to get new blending brushes. I've had these for ages. They're really not as good as they used to be. Saying that, I've got other blending brushes I could use, but these are on the table, so I'm just going to do a wee bit of this Wilted Violet up here, and I might do a wee bit just down in that corner as well. Wasn't quite thinking what I was doing there. But anyway, I've done it now. I actually might pop that one of these out for a blue. So we could have let's have some, what's that? Broken china. Let's have broken china, just to break it up a little bit. So I'm going to put that on next. And I'm just going to go over a wee bit of this because I forgot that I wanted to do lots of different colours. So I'm just going to go over a little bit with that. And just add some of it on its own. Just down here. Just over there, that's fine. So for me, there's no wrong or right way of doing things. You know, just do it as long as you enjoy it. That's what's important. That's what crafting is really about. Is as long as you're enjoying yourself, and you're happy with what you've made, that's what's important. And after all, that's only a piece of card, really. You know. So, yeah, I think my brushes, it's either my brushes or my inks need re-inked a little, but I'm going to put a little bit of that here as well. Not that I'll be using that whole bit anyway, but So I'm just going to put a bit of card over it because I don't want to get my fingers on it. So distress oxides take a wee while to dry, and sometimes you can just get your finger marks on them. So just take a little bit off card and hold it onto the bit that you've already blended, and that'll stop finger marks getting everywhere. Right, so let's do this one, Victorian Velvet. So I tend to change my brushes as I do it. Right, so let's see what brush would work. Let's see, what's that? Alright, so hold it on with your hand there. Excuse me. And then I'm going to, excuse me folks, is that juice? I don't usually drink the fizzy juice, but I fancied it tonight, so. Right, I'm going to just go back in down at this bottom part with some more wilted violet because it's kind of lost here at this top bit, which I'm not sure which part of it I'll be using. Come on. So let's just try and get that a bit more blended in. A little bit of that side as well. Right, so that's all I'm going to do, and to hope that that's going to be the best I can do. Right, I'm just going to let you guys catch up because I'm probably racing ahead. Oh, Christine, fabulous that you got to come in. I'm so glad. How are you? Hope you're good. Are you going to be crafting along with me, or are you just going to be watching? Which is absolutely fine. Either is absolutely fine. So, right, so I've done that. So I'm going to let you guys catch up a little bit. And then I'm going to decide which embossing folder to use. See if I can get this one to work. So this is where you would probably need some white brilliance, not necessarily that one, but white ink, or not, you could just leave it without. And I'm going to try and get this thing to work because it's just annoying. And I'm probably not going to need that whole sheet, so I'm going to cut it in half. So what time is it there, Christine? Is it like... Oh, you said good afternoon, so it must be afternoon. So that should fit in there, okay. Right, let's put that to the side and let's see if we can get this to work this time. Dear me. Let's see if we can... Because it tells you, it says using 3D embossing folders, so you use this plate, number 1, and 4, which is the embossing plate, and it doesn't work for some reason. It doesn't work, Lorna. It doesn't work, Gail. What am I going to do? So, this is this, no, that would go in, no, it's this way, I think, isn't it? So I'm going to pop this in and hope for the best, she says, but it doesn't seem to work, so let's see if it'll work. Oh, it's working now. How did it not work the last time? It's not really working. It didn't work the last time. Right guys, we're going to get this right, you know, we've got to get this right. Let's see if it will do it like this. Come on, you know you want to. Come on, you know you want to. I'm just going to end up not using this thing because it's annoying. Jeez. Help my Bob. Not working. Right, let's see. So maybe it's just one of these plates. I think I tried this already as well. Maybe this does. No, it doesn't go through very. It does. Yeah, that does actually work, even though that's not what the sandwich says. It's 2:08 p.m. Oh wow. Oh, there we go. So it's the base plate and a cutting plate. Right. Never have known that, but now I do. So let's pop that all back. Are you going to craft along, Christina, or just having a wee watch? That's fine. Oh. So let's see what this looks like. Oh, pretty. That's pretty, isn't it? So is the deboss. The deboss is lovely as well. So there we go. I think this one is actually a Spellbinders. I'm sure it could be a Spellbinders one. Does it say? Let's see. Oops. Or is it? Just says Marvelous Magnolia. No, it is actually a memory box one, this one. So that does give a lovely, lovely. I thought this was on. Oof, there we go. My light's going on now. You might be able to see. I thought I had it on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the 5x7 base. And it's obviously, this is slightly bigger than that, not much. But I can cut it down and we can probably cut the card down slightly as well. But before I do that, I want to just take over the top, this white ink over the top. And I'm just going to glide over the top of this embossed piece. I'm not going to press down because obviously that will be too much. So I'm just going to glide over the top like that. And it just picks out all of the raised up parts. So it's just gliding across like that. You could do it, I think, with black, but you'd have to be really careful. So that just brings out a bit more of the detail. So it's just gliding, it's not pushing in with the ink pad, it's just basically, as I say, gliding, skimming over the top. You could probably do this with a brayer as well, if you weren't too brave to just do it like this, but it really has a lovely effect over the top, and as I say, just brings out that lovely detail of the embossing folder. And then you've still got that gorgeous colour in the back ground. So what do you think, folks? Do you think that's a good... We should try it with the black as well, just to see what it's like. I have got a piece left that I put over there, so we could try it with the black. So that does take a wee while to dry, but I hope you'll agree with me that it really does make a nice effect. I'll cut that down. So let's try it with the black ink as well, just out of curiosity, since we are on a live craft. So I've got this little bit left now. It's probably not big enough for the whole piece to go in, I don't think. Probably just maybe the middle part. So just popping that in. Now I know what to do with my machine this time. So what was it? It was just that and that and this. Oh, you're doing it in green. Excellent. That'll be great. I know you like green, Lorna. So back again through here. It is a bit hard, but I think we'll manage. Ooh, sorry folks. Sorry so much. Clouds that was. Right. So, we've got a new lady with us who is all the way from the US, Christine. So if you want to say hi to Christine, it's lovely to have you here. Most of these ladies, well, all the ladies that I've got here are in the UK. So let's try it with Nocturne. So, not done this before, but it's the same thing. Glide, just glide over the top very, very, very lightly. So, you're just picking up the embossing, which is all the bits that are raised up. I don't think it's quite as effective, but it gives you a similar idea. I think it's just a case of taking your time and just, you know, trying to get all the wee bits that perhaps you miss on the first pass. Oh, see, I didn't really want that bit, but I've got it now. But I think that's okay because it's part of really what we're doing. There we go. I think I'll just leave mine like that. Right, so there's that one. I'm sure I'm not quite as happy with that one, but it's okay. I'm just going to get a little brush and just, that's got pet pastel on it from last night's. Probably should have done that. That's okay. Just leave it as is. There we go. So I'm going to pop these now onto cards. So I'm going to bring my trimmer in. So I had cut this base to 7x5, but I don't think that 7x5 is required. So I'm just going to try and, I've got marks where the embossing folder finished. So I'm just going to try and cut up to there and the same at the bottom, and then just kind of even it up. So just to cut that away, and then we can cut the card base similar. And I think we need to do it across here as well, just to even that up. And then let's see, now I'm going to put a layer behind this as well. So that measures now just under 4.5 by 5.5. So if I make this 6 roughly, I think what we've got here, so let's see if I make that 6 by whatever it was. I mean, that looks quite nice as is. So I could either have it like that, or I could find a layer. So I've got some card here I've got purples, I've got pinks, I've got peachy colour, orange, yellow. I don't think orange and yellow are green. So I think between the pink and the purple would work. So, you prefer the black one? Oh, right, fair enough, yes. No, that gets lost in there, doesn't it? What about this one? Does this work? Or does it look better? Right, so if this measures, what did I see? Just under 4.5, and this was measuring 5.5. So I need 5 3/4 for there. And I said this was what? Just under 4.5. So if I do this at 4 3/4, let me see, right, 4 3/4 would, is that going to work? Yeah. So there we go. So let's see what that looks like. That's quite nice. Let's see on top of here. Yeah, I think that's quite nice. So it's either this way, like that, which is quite nice, I think, or it just goes straight onto the card without a coloured layer. What do you think, folks? It's quite nice like that, actually, because that brings out more of the white, doesn't it? What do you think? Let me know which one you think. Oh, you're crafting at Gail's tonight. Excellent. So Gail obviously lives quite near you then, Lorna. Does she? I've got one sister who lives 10 minutes away from me, and then another sister lives about an hour away. So what one is it going to be, guys? This one or the layer? What do you fancy? We could even do it kind of jaunty, maybe. Maybe not. Maybe not quite big enough. No, it's too big. The only way I could do it jaunty is if I cut it down a bit. There we go. I mean, that is quite nice, but I actually think it looks nicer straight on the white. Yes, I agree, Anita. Let's do that. Right, let's actually do something else just to change it as well slightly. So I've got a corner punch. You don't have to do this, it's just me. But if you've got a corner punch and you fancy it, feel free. So I'm going to do it diagonally at opposite sides. So it just changes the card slightly, just the look of the card, just a bit. And then I'm going to do exactly the same on the base. Is that the right way? Yes. And then the same, just diagonally opposite. I think this needs emptied. Yep. And probably that's it. So this bit needs emptied, I said, and I did it. So that's still not quite cut. That's fine. So, and then that just gives it a slightly different look. Just a wee bit different, and it's quite nice. Well, that's just another wee idea. You don't have to do that at all, but you could. Now I want to put this onto something. Now I've got a lovely pink, really, oh no, don't go down there. I've just dropped my ribbon down the floor. I've got this nice pink satin ribbon, and I've also got this white. Actually, I think the white looks nice. And I don't often put ribbons on my cards, but I'm going to start doing it. So I've got this piece. Where's my scissors? Hiding. They're hiding. So what I want to do before I glue it down is I just want to cut a piece of ribbon. And I'm just going to pop this along the bottom. You could do it up the side, but I'm just going to do it on the bottom here. Excuse me. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn that over hold it there while I get some double-sided tape. Probably hold that there and just hold that there just till I get the tape. And this will just hold it in place like that. That's fine. And then this opposite side without, 5 minutes drive. That's really close. That's great. So you probably see your sister quite a lot of the time. So there we go. So I'm going to pop that on next, just down with some glue. And then I'm going to pop in another piece of the ribbon and just make a tie bow. I'm not going to do a proper bow, I don't think, because neat and proper bows on screen aren't always the best. Right, so make sure your cards are right way round, and then just add that with a little border to your base. Like that. I'm just going to give it a wee tap down like that, and then I'm going to add, once I find this thing that's disappeared. Oh my. Right, so I'm just going to get a piece of the organza ribbon, and I'm just going to pop this under, just there. So just going underneath it, so hence that's why it's loose, and catching that at the opposite side and just tying a bow. Not an actual bunny ears bow is what I'm meaning. I usually would do one like that, but just tying the bow, because then you can kind of move it over to wherever you want it to go to. And then just what I do to get my fishtail type ends is I fold it in half, if that's what you want to do anyway. Fold it in half, and then if I can get it to fold in half, but probably because it's so thin and narrow, is I usually fold it in half and then just cut it at an angle, and that will give you, it doesn't really give you them there, but that's how you do it if you're interested at all. I'm just fiddling now. So double it over and then just cut the opposite angle, and you should be able to get that. And there, that is that with the without your, okay, lovely to have you all here. So I'm not going to put anything on this for a sentiment, because I am just going to leave it at the moment, and I'm going to look for some few wee gems. So I've got these kind of darker gems which I think might complement it, or I could go for, got lots of different, I could go for these actually, they're quite nice. Let's go for these ones. So let's get that putty pen. No, sometimes it just doesn't want to lift these up. Come on, you know you want to. So I hope you're all enjoying yourselves and having a great time crafting. Hope you're enjoying watching Anita and Christine, if you're still about. There we go. So just a few, one there. Let's got a bit of glue on it. Might not use that. Here's my pokey tool. So one there, one there I think, and then one, these are quite big, and one I think just down there. Okay, so that's card number 2 with a white ink over the top to pick up the embossing. Okay, hope you like that too. I know you're here, that's great. I am so glad you're here, Christine. I'm so glad you're here. So let's go to, we can also do this one as well. So and then we'll go to the last one, which is the Joseph's Technicolor one that I'm going to do. So we're just going to quickly do this one. So this one is just going to get a few bits cut off because we need to straighten it up. There we go, that's better. And let's see what this is measuring at the bottom, because I think it's slightly different. So this measures just over 3 1/4 by 5 3/4. So let's just cut that bit again, just so it is 5 and just shy of 5 3/4 there. And I still think it looks a bit squint. Let me see. Yeah, it's looking a bit squint at this side, so I just chop a little bit more off. There we go. And I think what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to make it into a tag shape. So I'm trying to decide if I've not got any black, have I? No, I don't. I don't want any black card. Why don't we just make this into a tag? So you don't have to do this, but if you want to, feel free. So I just chopped a bit off either side. What I tend to do once I've chopped it off one side is take it to the other side and try and use that to chop the other side. It doesn't always end up the same, but it's similar. I'm just going to get my punch and my eyelets down for this one, and just punch a hole just here, and I'm going to find a black eyelet. I do have purple ones, but I'm going to go for the black one. These are We Are Keepers eyelets, if that's something that interests you. I got them off Amazon. There you go, that's that done. So I don't think I've got a, yeah, actually I might have a ribbon for this up here. You all still with me, folks? I've not bored you to tears. So I've got this nice purple velvet one, or I've got purple gingham, which I think actually the gingham one's quite nice. So these are from Misa Print, who I did the collaboration with. The last, I think it was May, June and July collaboration. If you're interested, but no other people get their ribbons and things from wherever they need to get them from. So, but just if you wanted these specific ones. So just popping that double loop through and pulling it back. So there we go. There we have a nice tag, which is done in the black. So that's project number 3. So we're on to project number 4, which is going to be the Joseph's Technicolor Dream Coat technique. So I've got a 7x5 card for that card base. I'll need to cut another piece of white. If I can get it up here for that. There we go. I've got 2 and I've got 1 bit. So I'm going to try and do this. So So I'm just cutting this piece to 5 by 7 basically, but obviously I will be cutting it down. So let's pop that to this side. Like that. So we're on to our last kind of project. Just bear with me as I wipe my nose. Right, so I'm trying to decide if, so I thought I would go for this one, or I could do the trees, not sure. Let's just go, I think, for this one, and it's not cut at the right size because I forgot this was square, didn't I? So what we want to use this time is, so it doesn't matter if you emboss it. If you emboss it, you just put it through and then we turn it over to the deboss side. So let's just get, move these out the way so we don't need them. Let's just get this machine back over and see if we can get this to work. So obviously I've cut it slightly to a different size, so maybe I should have cut it more to a, what size is this? Is that size? 6 by 6. Ooh. Right, so maybe I should have cut this to 6 by 6. So whatever size your embossing folder is, cut it to that size roughly. So we'll just do 6 by 6. And that should fit in. That's it. That's better. Right. So let's just see. What did I do the last time? Now is this a 3D? Let's just try it and see. No, it's not. There's no purchase on that. So I need to probably put in number 2 plate and then this number 3 plate. Let's see if that's going to work better. Yes, that's fine. So, there we go. That's fine. That'll have worked perfectly. I'm sure of it. Right, so there we go. That does come out lovely and embossed, but we are going to turn it over and use the debossed side. Okay. So remember folks as well, it's very important when you're on a live to give me a thumbs up before you leave, because that just helps me to get noticed in the algorithms of YouTube. So I'd really appreciate a thumbs up before you leave. That would really help me as I'm trying to get to 1,500 subscribers. I still have a lot of fluctuating, excuse me. I needed a little drink there. Yeah, I seem to have a lot of fluctuation of numbers. I don't know why that is, but I do. If you are subscribed, please check your subscription as well, because sometimes YouTube seems to unsubscribe people. I don't know why, but it's done it to me on other people's channels. So it would be great to just check that. I'm sure it's fine, but you know, just checking that you're actually subscribed to the all bell, which means that you get all the notifications for all the videos I ever put out. Okay, thanks so much, Lorna. Excellent. Right, so we do need our dark colour, so we can have a dark sort of blue. You could have a dark green if you wanted, a dark brown I'm sure would work, a black. So what I'm going to do is use my Distress Oxides just to colour in some of the embossing. Now that's not a particularly deep emboss, but I think it should work, or deboss I should say. So I'm just going to, I think, get some of the colours I used already, or I might use a few different ones. Let's use Salty Ocean, Savage Patina, Dusty Concord, and let's see what else. I'll use a different, could do a green. What have we got? Mossy Meadow. Lawn actually it's called, not Mossy Meadow. So what I'm going to do is just colour all these bits in. I've got slightly smaller brushes here, so hopefully they will work, and I'll be able to kind of just go into all these sort of smaller areas. So as I say, you can colour it in with pens as well. I can always do some colouring in with pens as well if you want to see what that looks like. What time are we at? Oh gosh, we've gone quite far over, haven't we? On time. But I've been enjoying myself. I hope you have. Anyway, this is definitely the last card. So I'm just going over all the leaves in green. Like that. So it's not the emboss side, it's the deboss. So you are probably better with a sort of more 3D folder, but as I say, it doesn't have to be. You know, it could just be your normal folder. There, so I've done all the green for the leaves. And now I'm just going to do a bit of a variety of colours. So I'm thinking, I've got this kind of purple one, I don't know if it's, oh, I think that's okay. So I'm going to use these Dusty Concord now, just to go into some of these flowers. And it doesn't really matter if you go over the edge, because it's going to be covered with the black, if you see what I mean. And if it doesn't work, I'll scream. No, it will work. It should work anyway. I've done it before a few times. Let's do some up here. And maybe this one. So using all the colours that you fancy, it doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be these colours. It can just be absolutely any colours that you want it to be. You know? There we go. That's those. And then I'm going to come in with this brush. These are quite small brushes. I've had these for a wee while. These were at Amazon, I think. But, you know, just if you're interested. So there's a sort of nice blue colour there. And here. Where else? This bit here. There we go. And then I'm going to get this one, Savage Patina. Probably need another colour actually as well. Let's see. I've got these little ones as well. Bear with me. Hopefully I can reach them. Yep. Get these little ones as well. I think these were from Timu actually, and they're okay. Not the best brush, but they're okay. Let's do this one here. So just going into all these flowers areas. I'm just trying to fill them up with colour. As I say, it doesn't matter too much if you go over into the other areas, because once it's covered with the black it should be fine. Will I just do another wee bit in the middle there, like that. Right, I think we need to get another couple of colours. So I'm going to do this one. What else have we got here? What's that? Let's do some mustard seed as well. So let's look for a yellow coloured brush here. I'm not sure about that one, but see if it's okay. Yep. So we can go in here. That is going to go a bit green, but that's okay. We don't mind too much. Well, I don't mind too much. Anyway, there we go. Other colours could we add? We've got here, we've got Victorian Velvet. We could add that one. So I'll just put these to the side. Let's see this. That's okay. So let's just add in another colour. And then up here. And then we can try the magic. Help. I hope you're all still with me and all enjoying watching or creating your own thing. I'm just going to do that into the middle as well. Just make sure that's all covered up. Now I might just go over the green again because I've missed out a few pieces. Let's just pop that on because there's a bit here where I've missed out. And just want to go over that a wee bit more. And this bit. Right, so the moment of truth has arrived. Well, this could go drastically wrong. Well, I think it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. So what we need to do is we need to drag the black or the blue or the brown or the green, whatever colour, as long as it's dark, over the top of this. And hopefully it'll work. Excellent. So here goes, folks. Here we go. It's working. It really works, you know. It's magic. You can just kind of fill in, or you could leave it like that because that actually looks quite nice, just like that, without actually filling in completely to make it black or whatever colour you've chosen. But yeah, it's really nice. It's really nice. Glad you're having fun, Gail. If only you lived nearer, you could come here for a class. So I've kind of covered it all in the black, which is fine, but I don't think I'm going to go completely black. I'm going to leave some of these whiter sort of areas there. So that is the Joseph's Technicolor Dream Coat technique. And as I say, you can use any colour. You could have used, as long as it was a dark colour, it would absolutely work. So yeah, so let's make this into our last card and then we can finish up. And I hope you've enjoyed it, because certainly I have. Now, I've got a bag of 6x6 and I might have to make it slightly bigger. So let me see. Let's just go back up here. I'm trying to reach my paper. I actually need to probably put the paper somewhere else, because I actually just use this 12 stuff that I've got, which is a linen card as well, called Snowbound. Now this was from Hobbycraft, so it's called Snowbound. So that's a shop in the UK. I'm sure there's a shop, if you're still here, Christine, I'm sure there's a shop in the US that does something similar. So if that was 6, so if we make this, it would have to be 6, because then it wouldn't work, would it? So we're going to score up the middle at 6, so it comes 6 by 12. Okay. And then I'm going to fold it in half. Now that's quite lucky, that piece. And then I'm going to cut it at 6 again. And then that will give us 2 card bases. Okay. I'm going to just use one of them. Now I think this was 6 by 6, so I could either just put it straight on top like that, or I could cut it with a tiny border. Now there's not that much room for a border, but I could try it this side just to cut a wee tiny slither off, because that's all it would be, and a wee tiny slither off at this side, and that would perhaps give us just a little border. Let me see. Yeah, kind of. Let's see which is better. Is that better? Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, let's go for that. So let's get that put on, and then we can look at all the makes and maybe vote on which is your favourite. And then I think I should let you go now after that, because I've kept you on here for quite a while. But thank you so much for staying with me. I really do appreciate your company and your support of my channel. It's great to have you here, and I hope we can continue to do more lives like this more often. So let me see, is this going to be the way? It was, I think. So just giving that it's got a tiny, tiny wee border all the way round. So I'm just going to get my block and just, this is so I don't get covered in VersaFine Clear. I shouldn't, but you know. Yeah, it's very good. It's excellent. What question, Christine? I'm not sure. I can't think what question. It is gorgeous, and it's really nice technique. And as I say, you can use absolutely any colours for whatever your embossing folder is. I mean, it's probably going to be flowers, I would think, for a lot of people. And then, yes, you can just do whatever you want, really. Now I'm going to get one of these feel good verses, and then that'll be us. So I'm going to do this. Creativity takes courage, because for some, it does. I don't mean for some people, but it does take courage to get to the place that you want to be. So I tend to like to go to my right but now I'm thinking I'll put it in the middle. Or what will I do? I'm just going to pop it slightly in the middle. I'm not going to stick it down too hard. So that, yeah, I think I'm going to go in the middle. So although these are sticky, it's still good to stick it on so that it's not going to come off at all. So there we go. Here we go. There we go. I'm going to stick that straight into the middle, because to me that is pleasing to the eye. Okay, and I think as long as you do what makes you happy, that's what's important. So there we go, folks. So thank you so much, as I say, for joining me tonight. It really has been a pleasure. I hope you've learned some things. I hope you've enjoyed watching and perhaps taking part in some of this embossing folders fun. And you can always refer back to this for measurements and things if you want to. But I really do appreciate having you here. Thanks so much. Now, I wonder if I can actually flip it round to... no, we'll just keep it that way, so don't look at my messy desk. So here I am. So, as I say, thanks so much for joining me. I really enjoyed it. I hope you did. And I won't be back next week because I'm on holiday, but I'll be back the following Tuesday. So thanks so much, folks. See you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.